Welcome to Podcast Combat Sports. I'm your host, Frank Palumbo. This is the new MMA and wrestling podcast for Northern New York and Vermont and the surrounding areas. I'll begin the inaugural episode of this podcast with a recap of last week's Extreme Combat Promotion event here in Plattsburgh, New York. Of course, that event was headlined by Dave Reginbold from H2O in Montreal. He picked up the vacant bantamweight belt by defeating Ian Beatriz via TKO in the second round. The co-main event for that night was Corey Yance for a contender bout at the lightweight division. He beat Dylan Bishop via neck crank towards the end of the first round. Also on that card was Alan Harrell in a Muay Thai title fight that was a welterweight bout where he defeated Randy Felion via TKO in just 35 seconds of the first round. At a catchweight, 175 pounds, Albert Tully defeated Travis Simpson via rear naked choke midway through the third round. At flyweight, Abe Armani Munn improves to 2-0, defeating Kenny Lewis via ground and pound early in the first. The second half of that card was kicked off with Joe LaChapelle versus Jeremiah Douglas. LaChapelle picked up the TKO victory with a knee to the liver about halfway through the first round. This past week, 30th, just before Halloween, was CESMMA, which airs on Access TV, cable network. It takes place in Rhode Island at Twin River Casino. This is an excellent organization for anyone trying to build a career as a professional. It's based in the Northeast, and it acts as a feeder program to the UFC. So if you can get some quality wins in this promotion as a professional, you could be picked up by the UFC. So CESMMA airs on Access TV. That is a promotion that you should be looking to get some fights in. Next up, we have our interview with Andre the Finisher Belcarris. Andre is a bantamweight fighter out of Vermont. He's actually fighting this weekend at the Whitehall Athletic Club in a bantamweight scrap against Jose Feliciano. He also has a fight coming up December against TJ George, which is a very anticipated bit of a grudge match. And next year, he does have plans to go pro, and that's another topic that we will get into during the interview. So, without further ado, Andre the Finisher Belcarris.
Hey Frank, it is.
How's it going?
All right.
Good, man. So thanks for doing this. This is actually the first interview or podcast that I've been putting together. So you are the first one.
Aw, snap. That's cool. We can work it.
Good, man. So last time I think we were in Rutland. That's what really made me want to get you on this show, because I think that there's a lot going on with you, and it's very interesting. So that's really what I want to elaborate on.
Okay, that's cool.
A couple of things I wanted to go into. I wanted to touch on the TJ George situation, Cody Murray situation, and just some general stuff on you. You're one of the very few fighters that I've seen kind of market yourself. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem.
All right. So your next fight is TJ George?
No. Next fight is Saturday night coming up. I'm fighting Jose Feliciano at WAC on November 7th. My next fight for Cassie is with TJ George.
Oh, okay. All right. So this one is this Saturday, Whitehall Athletic Club?
Correct.
And what's that, at bantamweight?
Yes.
All right. So where's this guy from?
I am not sure, honestly. I have seen a couple clips on him. From what I saw, he looks to stay standing, which fits my forte. He looks a little bit lanky, but that tells me he's a little bit smaller if he's making 135, 138, whatever. But decent striker, looking to push the pace, and I'm definitely looking to do the same. So I definitely think I'm coming out on top on it. So last time I was in Whitehall, I got a bad decision. So this one we're not going to the judges.
Yeah, so you fought for a couple of different organizations. I've only had one experience with Whitehall Athletic Club, and it was one of the guys and his opponent never showed up. So they have a cage now?
They are using, I believe, the cage that used to be in Granville, the orange cage. I don't know if they purchased that, or actually, I think that maybe Mike Ingleston's involved with Whitehall Athletic Commission, and he's joined up with them. But yeah, they've got a cage, and this will be this upcoming Saturday. I'm fighting. Ian will be defending his featherweight belt against Mike Bennett. So it'll be a pretty decent card.
Oh, that's cool. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you guys are both on the same card. How's Ian doing after that loss last weekend?
I never like to lose, but he came out healthy, and we're definitely looking past that, looking to defend our strap. I definitely feel like this next fight he's going to be able to show a little bit more of his abilities, because this last fight, weight cut kind of killed him. But, we don't make excuses. We go out there and fight, you know what I mean? And that's just the way it went then. But I definitely feel like this next fight is going to be at 145. He's already walking around at that. So there's not going to be a weight cut issue. And Mike Bennett's in for a rude awakening.
Good, man. Yeah, I thought Ian fought pretty tough against Reginbald last week. That first round was very close. I gave a slight edge to Reginbald, but I thought Ian was doing all the right stuff.
And he brought it. That's definitely what I was looking for, because like I said, he wasn't feeling 100% at all, so I just wanted him to come out and fight. That was going to be one of the biggest things coming into that fight. The game plan was to bring it to Reginbald, make him try to fight backwards. He's definitely a dominant striker, so to speak, so 9 times out of 10, he's inflicting damage fighting forward, and our goal was to make him move backwards. And while Ian was able to do that, we were doing well, but his stamina wasn't able to be there, so that's basically what happened there.
All right. So for this weekend, do you know where you are on the card?
I know Ian's the main event.
So Ian's main event. Anybody else we'd know fighting there?
Yeah, we got Money's Word Bishop is supposed to be fighting Noah Hughes if Noah shows up. You know how that can go from time to time.
Yeah.
We've got myself. I don't know if you know Bryce Burns. He's fighting Corey the Yeti Yance for the 55-pound title.
Yeah, I know Corey. I've seen him a little bit.
So, yeah, it looks like I'm pretty much at the end of the card, actually, like a fight before Ian, or two before Ian fight. It's me, the 55 title, and then Ian.
Now, I heard a rumor about that Whitehall Athletic Club. Have you heard? I wonder if you've heard the same rumor about what is on the top floor in that. I don't know, that castle. Have you heard that rumor?
I haven't. I don't even know what's up there.
I've heard that there is a very sophisticated strip club at the top of that tower.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's news to me. That's cool.
Yeah, man, you might want to check into that this weekend.
Well, I'm married. I can't be doing that shit.
I mean, this is at that castle, right?
Yeah, it's right at the armory there. Yeah.
So, that's what I heard. I went there once, and I haven't been back yet, but I've been meaning to.
Well, this Saturday night's a good time, let me tell you. There will definitely be a show.
I just might. So, let's move on to TJ George.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with how this all came to be. Long story short, I was online one day in the XCP Fighters page and noticed there was somebody calling out anybody on the NEA team at 135, 145, or 155. And to quote the post, I believe he said, "Who wants to get fucked up?" Now, I see this post on a fighter page. I don't even know who the kid is, besides the fact that I guess I had ring announced for him and just not remember. But that pretty much tells you where it is, where he was on the radar screen. Okay, so I'm like, what the fuck is this? And at the same time, it kind of infuriated me because I'm like, I'm the type of person where, yeah, I will talk some shit, but I'm also the type to back it up. You know what I mean? If I say A, I do A. You know, I don't say A and do B.
Yeah.
And that's the type of person TJ George is. You know what I mean? He'll say A and do B. Because if you're going to call somebody out with those type of insulting, insult a reputable gym, because we've been around for a while. You know, I've been fighting for 5 years, and we were around before I started fighting. So, I mean, for him to just come out and be like, I'll take anybody on who wants it, just because, and his reasoning behind this later on through the messaging was he wanted to make a name for himself, and nobody would give him a chance. And I'm like, dude, I ain't never back down from a fight. All you had to do is say, hey, I think you're a good fighter. I want to fight you. That's all he would have had to done, and I would have respected that.
Mm-hmm.
But he did it the other way, so I ran my mouth back. I'm like, shit, 135, no problem. I'll meet you, and I will guarantee that I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to push your shit, and I believe in how you got good. You know? So we set up this fight, and I started training, and I'm ready to go.
When was the fight?
You know,
when was that fight set for? Do you know?
It was originally supposed to happen this past event at, on the 24th here.
Okay.
On the E01. It was supposed to be the same night. And he pulled out about, I want to say like 2 weeks out, maybe a little before. Originally stating that he had to walk out second, and that was the only way he was going to fight me. Now, that in itself is the dumbest shit I ever heard, because he really hasn't done much in XCP. I know he's won a couple of fights, but, I mean, I've been the bantamweight champion, defending it 3 times. Now, I would be the person walking out second, just on credentials alone. Secondly, my teammates also fighting and defending his belt, so that's why he would be in the red corner on the same fight, same team, same side, as far as the promoter goes for validity of the event and whatnot. But all that being said, I could give up for a damn. I said, I don't even care. I'll be in the blue corner, whatever. You can walk out second. Let's still fight. And apparently, in between those messages, he told either Tassie or Pete that he wasn't going to fight at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up matching me up with, what was his name? Frederick Dupre. And he had an issue in his family, and he wasn't able to continue to train to be able to fight. So he had to pull out. So I didn't get to end up fighting on him on that last card. But I had another fight scheduled coming up here on the 7th. So, I mean, although it did suck, I just was able to continue training and move on through to the next fight. So then after that, he sends Kathy a message because there was a locker room incident at one of the events that I was announcing at, because I was displeased with the fact that he pulled out of the fight, you know, and I was going to keep my mouth shut, and Corey Yance called me over and was like, why don't you guys fight tonight? And I'm like, dude, I'm the ring announcer tonight, number one. Number two, why doesn't he show up when he's supposed to show up? This was pretty... I'm sorry, go ahead.
They wanted you to fight that night?
Yeah, but I think that was more about running his mouth than actually they would have actually fought that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably just trying to save face.
I didn't take too kindly to that because I was already there to do another job, number one. Number two, the fact that he had already pulled out of the fight for no good reason at all kind of infuriated me, and he was still at the event and this, that, and the other. And so he started to open his mouth and say something, and I started to kind of lose it. I'm like, dude, we can fight right here. Because I'm the type of, like I said, you're going to call me out like you called me out, you obviously have a problem. If you have a problem, we can solve it. Now, if you don't want to do it the way we're supposed to do it, you don't want to do it in the cage, we can do it right here or shut the fuck up. That's pretty much where it was at for me. You know what I mean? And you shut the fuck up, which is probably the best thing at that point. And then, like I said, so that must have sparked a new fury for him to send Kathy another message like, oh, I don't care when I walk out, I want to fight Andre Burlington, but I can't make 35, let's do it at 40, okay? So once again, I'm like, number one, you call me out at 135 and say you're going to beat my ass, and now you're saying you can't even make 135 when you've got 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was, to make it there. You walk around at, what, 150 if you're lucky? You're 5 foot nothing, you know what I mean? So to me, like I said, I was like, I don't care what weight it's at. At this point, I just want to beat this kid's ass. And that's exactly what he's going to get. I guarantee if it's a TKO situation, the referee is going to have to cry. And it's going to be one of those situations like y'all might look at me like he kind of should have stopped him a little sooner. Because I'm saying, unless he goes unconscious and the ref is already on top of him, he's going to get hurt. That's my goal in that fight. I don't even care about winning. So, of course, I'm going, but I don't even care about winning. I just want to break his face.
All right, so yeah, I mean, this is definitely kind of going like above and beyond, like a regular fight. It's kind of, and the good thing about it is there's a little bit of story behind it. So we know, there's gonna be some entertainment with this fight. Now,
I guarantee there'll be some entertainment. So I guarantee it.
So now he was at Plattsburgh this past week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did you guys interact at all?
No. Not that I was able to talk to him or anything like that in passing, but there was no words or anything like that. However, the team kind of did a little toy, I guess, and we're rocking a Jason mask out. Everybody was insistent that it was in relation to the fact that both of them want to fight me. Okay, now I felt like it was kind of funny because to me, Cody calling me out the way he did, and TJ doing the call out the way he did, I'm like, these guys are both trying to jump on my coattails to try to skyrocket their career, apparently. But they're both wrong. Cody's already fought me once before, and you would think that that would be enough for him since he got the W, but if I recall correctly, I walked out of that cage just a little bit tired, and he went to the hospital with a concussion. So that's probably why he's using the antics, and that's definitely why he told me we should fight at pro and not at Andy, because if we're going to get hurt, we might as well get hit.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about getting hurt.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to get into that Cody Murray thing, but before we move to that, there was something else that happened. I think it was TJ. Now I don't think that I know TJ. I don't think I can pick him out. If I don't believe I've met him, but I heard that he got into a fight in the parking lot at Plattsburgh this past week.
Well, see, what had happened was, now I was not outside. However, one of my party members, like one of the people that was in our group, was outside and saw what jumped off. Apparently, there were some words mixed outside between TJ's girlfriend and another fighter's girlfriend. I don't know if anything legal's coming out of this, so I ain't going to divulge it. I ain't the one that dropped dimes. However, another fighter's girlfriend and TJ's girl was going at it, apparently. And then I heard TJ got sucker punched. That's the way I heard TJ explaining it when he was inside.
Well, yeah, I was...
He said, how you going to hit me when I ain't looking? I heard that. Now, I don't know exactly what went down, but apparently TJ got sucker punched.
Yeah, I was at that time I was breaking down, and I was trying to give a hand with the cage, and I think it was him. Pretty sure it was him now, but he came in and he was pissed. He was acting a fool inside, saying that he got sucker punched. I tell you, he's probably not making any friends because nobody in the gym really seemed to care.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, and again, I'm a perfect example. Like you said before, I've promoted myself a little bit more than the average amateur fighter. So like I said, I understand the value of your mouth. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got to understand if you're going to run that route, the way to do it. And I feel like I've pretty much always done it tactfully. There was one time that it was a little above and beyond, and I learned, and I paid for that. I don't know if you ever caught the vine when I sent out a video before my Chris Johnson fight with me in Times Square, my mask on, and I was slapping off at the gun.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
All right, I'm talking to Chris. I'm like, you realize this is MMA, right? Blah, 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 blah. Well, Chris got that message, I'm sure, because he came out looking to take off my fucking head. You know what I mean? And that's what I would have expected. You know what I mean? And I fought through it. I was able to pull off the victory. But that was also an eye-opener for me. If you're going to talk shit, make sure you're able to back it up. And that's why when I run my mouth, I'm able to back that shit up.
Yeah, and
plain and simple.
Yeah, I remember that video, and geez, I can't remember the time frame, but I was like, this is pretty cool because Andre's he's taking this stuff seriously, and even if it's a learning experience, man, this is amateurs. This is exactly where you got to learn it. But yeah, that stuck out to me. I remember that video.
Well, that's part of the reason that I went the route that I went. I have a wife. I've got 2 kids. When I started MMA, I was already married. I already had a child. So it wasn't like a lot of these guys who come into MMA and don't have any real responsibilities, so to speak. And obviously, anybody who knows or has kids knows what I'm talking about. If you don't have kids, you can figure stuff out. When you have kids, things become a lot more difficult. So, I mean, when I started, I realized that if I wanted to be successful and be fighting at the level that I really wanted to fight at, which was being on televised fights and being in a big show, I was going to need to put in work, and I was going to have to branch off, because I realized by watching fights and meeting fighters and learning the game that, number one, it's not always the best fighter who gets paid the best. Number 2, it's not always the best fighter that wins. And number 3, it's not always the best fighter that sells. So, number 1, when you're going for things, you want to be the best fighter you can be. But if you just focus on that, you can really miss out and lose out on a lot of other things in the fight game. You can look back, and if people are naming off the greats in the fight game, there aren't a lot of them who have undefeated or close to undefeated records. Some of them don't even have winning records. Some of them have, close to 50-50 records. It's not about the record at the end of the day. It's about how excited you were for the fans, how much you do for the sport. And I realized that at a very young age, so to speak, in my career. That being said, I'm 30 years old, so I realized I also had to do all this in a relatively short period of time so that I can launch my career and actually be able to do something with it before I'm too old. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the approach I took. I took that college-type approach. It took me a little bit longer than I wanted to, but again, with a wife and kids, sometimes you got to take time off and this, that, and the other. I had a broken arm, so that was an injury that laid me up for a little bit and had me rethinking things, and it had me fighting a different way too, because coming back from that, your strength isn't the way it used to be, and if you're used to fighting being a bully, so to speak, and you're not as strong, you've got to figure out a different way to win. And I've been learning things to have to handle.
Yeah, and that stuff is it's very true. I've been fortunate in MMA, but in wrestling, you get injuries. I've had lots of teammates get injuries, and you just gotta avoid the pain during the competition. Just find a way to win, because the clock is ticking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a couple years back, I think it was during the I'm pretty sure it was for the Tyler match that you had, Shamel Tyler. I put together a poster for that, and I remember when I got a hold of your picture, it was clearly like a professional picture. It's the only one that I've seen for you, but it's a really good photograph. So obviously I used that for the poster. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Do you remember like who you had photograph you and what you've used that for?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few photo sessions. I've been fortunate enough that where I live, it's near an artsy college, and the people around here have an knack for that. But one of our teammates, Cliff Gayton, was the person who took that photo, the initial photo that you got, and he took some other photos that night too, and that was basically just a night at the gym after working out. He took those photos, and he set up his screen or whatever. But I've used that in a lot of different shots simply because it was kind of just picturesque. You know what I mean? It's worked well. It was, like you said, professionally done. He does it for a living outside of, a hobby. He does wedding photos and stuff like that. So he's helped me out a lot. I mean, I was able to produce a DVD of my fight career for a large part of my Indy fight career, with video that I've taken from all my fights, and I pulled that all together. So that was a big project. But like I said, when I started, I knew I was going to have to do other things because, I realized that until I become the best, so to speak, and that's always what you're striving for, you're not there yet. So if you want to get up in the world, you've got to figure out other ways to help yourself get there as quickly as possible. Because like I said, and like you said, the clock is ticking. You know what I mean? I've got this fight coming up on the 7th. I've got the fight in December. And then I plan to fight Cody as a pro early 2016. 2016 is going to be my year of going pro and moving on. And I feel like after that fight, I'm looking for maybe one or two on a smaller show. And I want to be on a Bellator. I want to be on a World Series of Fighting. And I feel like, number one, with my skill level improving as I train harder and am able to train harder with moving up. And number two, with my knowledge and ability to promote myself, I'll be able to get in those promotions once I make a splash because I've got that. And a lot of people, even at the pro level, you can see do not have that. They're not able to speak on the microphone. They're not able to make the crowd do what they wanted to do, even if the situation isn't necessarily dictating that, And I feel like with my announcing capabilities and stuff like that, that only further benefits me and allows me to be able to develop this career after I'm able to fight. So I'm already thinking about that end game because best believe we got 5, 6, 7, 10 years if you start early enough, But then after that, then what? And a lot of people don't even think about that. They think you make enough money while you're in the game. That's not really it.
Yeah, it sounds like.
I stay on it.
It sounds like you're like during your amateur career, you're putting together a resume for when you do go pro.
Absolutely.
So the other thing that I noticed is the logo, and I noticed it while you were announcing. So I haven't seen it anywhere online though, but it's definitely something I noticed on your shirt. So how'd that come about with the logo?
Well, the finisher logo came about because I was watching fights and watching fighters, and I realized that my name is a longer name to spell. And it was kind of one of those things where I was like, you know what? I'm trying to make a brand for myself. Why not design a logo? Why not make something small and compact that when somebody sees it, like a Jordan silhouette, they know exactly what it is and what it means and what it stands for. And that was something that, again, actually Cliff Dayton helped me design that. I came in with a rough sketch one day, and we sat up in his loft, and we did some computer work, and we were able to make that happen within a few hours, and it's definitely going to be something that, like I said, is going to be able to be easily recognizable. I'll be able to put that on anything, and people are going to know who that is and what that stands for.
Yeah, man, that's really cool, and it's one of those little things, but it stands out. It's definitely something that I remembered, and that's definitely one of the points I wanted to bring up when I had you on here. So we had mentioned Cody Murray a short while ago, and now you agreed to that fight, that pro fight with him. Has anything materialized on that? You guys have like a contract or anything, or?
There's nothing yet. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't know what his goals are with that or where he's trying to go with that. I would like to fight for Cassidy, seeing as how he made the call out at Cassidy's show. But at the same time, money makes the world go round. And although I'm definitely a performer, dollar bills talk, So I'm definitely looking to fight him wherever the money's right, A, and B, As soon as I'm done with his well-known teammate, I'm going to train for about 8 weeks, and I'll be ready for him. And that's only because I want to put my best foot forward, not because I feel like I need the extra 8 weeks. Because like I said, the first time we fought, I had a weight cut that didn't leave me at 100%, and it took everything that he had to pull out that victory, and I know that he hasn't improved very much from what I've seen. Their hands in that camp at the lighter weight classes aren't there, you know. A little bit higher, they got Travis Simpson. You know, he's making a name for himself. He just came off a tough loss, but he was winning that fight in the first 2 rounds. Other than that, Team Murray's pretty hit up. So I think that if he thinks that it's going to go the way it did as amateurs, he's in for a rude awakening. You know, because his game and goal is to try to take me down and to hump me out, so to speak, because his ground and pound ain't there. And I feel like, number one, takedown is going to be hard for him to get. And number two, it's a different story when elbows are involved. I'll bust you open from my back. Believe that. I've done it before, and I can definitely do it again. So I'm definitely a lot more comfortable being on my back with elbow strikes allowed. I know how to move well defensively to avoid strikes, and it also offers better grappling opportunities for myself at the bottom if he is able to take me down. So that fight, as soon as I come off of the December fight, I'd like to already have it scheduled if we can do it before that. But, you know, I definitely feel like that would be a great first fight for me. It's an opponent that I already know and feel extremely confident that I can defeat. And I just want to set up the terms so that it's able to be profitable for myself and for the promoter.
Well, yeah, with that being that occurrence and the call out and everything in Vermont, you know, that it seems like, you know, Extreme Combat is really almost like the default place to go to have that pro fight. You know, you got the built-in audience right there. And for anyone listening who doesn't know what I'm talking about, this was about 4 weeks ago in what was it, Rutland, when Cody Murray had a grappling match. I believe it was with Stover, and he won that by it was submission only, but it went the full 10 minutes, and Cody wound up getting the nod 2-1, 2 submission attempts to 1, and then of course he calls out Andre, a fighter that he's already has a victory over for his pro debut. And it kind of seemed to me like he was trying to be complimentary, but he was trying to talk trash. You know, so another one of those amateur things where, you know, we're just kind of working out our personalities here in the amateurs, or I should say you guys are, you know, kind of building your resumes and building your fan base. So I thought that was a pretty cool move. And but I do have to say that for that verbal sparring match, I definitely give you the nod for that one, including the backflip that you did at the end.
Well, you know, I tend to bring out the backflip when I get excited, usually after a W, but that right there pretty much to me was a W, because, you know, not only did he call me out, he went on to say that he guaranteed to win, and if he didn't win, then it would be his last pro fight. You know, and I mean, that was a little WWE-esque in an I Quit match. But I'm quick-witted. I've got 2 brothers, and dissing was a way of fighting in our household. So for somebody to diss me, I'm going to come back quick and say, hey, I don't mind retiring you and sending you on your way, you know. And afterwards he was like, you know, just trying to promote the fight, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, at the end of the day, we both know what it is. You know, we've got a fight, and I guarantee without a doubt that he's not going to be happy at the end of that fight. You know, I hope I get a win bonus too. You know, I'm throwing that in there. I hope everybody listening, yes, I will deliver. I might change my nickname to Money's Worth, Dylan, just for that night, because I'm going to give the crowd what they want. And they want to see me smash people's face.
Yeah, man, I thought that was an awesome comeback. I liked the backflip. And, you know, I didn't have anybody you know, from my team fighting on that card, but we went down there, and that was worth it right there. You know, he initiated it. I thought you had a great comeback. I thought that was awesome. And there was a couple of good fights that night as well. but I that's really what I took away from that night was that call out, your comeback and the backflip. I thought that was really, really cool. I was like, oh man, and at that time I was just toying with having this podcast, and I was like, oh, I gotta get Andre on this thing, as soon as possible. And it took a couple of weeks, but finally getting this thing going, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, I definitely appreciate you offering it, man. Like I said, I'd be always happy to help out. I know you had reached out to Ian as well, so I know he's going to be able to put down an awesome podcast. I've definitely enjoyed working with him as a teammate and sparring partner over the years. He came in this game brand new, so to speak, no background in wrestling or anything like that, and has grown in the NBA team and system to the fighter he is today. So I appreciate it. He appreciates it. And I definitely know you're going to have good success because you're starting off with two of the best, baby.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are really like staples for fighters in the region, and it's actually my target region. This is Vermont and Northern New York, and I think you guys are both very well known. You guys are both very good fighters, definitely growing, and you guys have the personality. Ian's walkout last week was really cool, and I'll tell you, Kyle was the most excited about it. He was going crazy during this walkout. He was loving it, and his energy was like, infectious. Because then I started getting excited, and then I missed it. But Ian, when he was looking at Reginald, and then he tilts his head like Mike Myers when he had the mask on and everything. Oh man!
Yeah.
Now is that on film somewhere? Can I watch? Is that on YouTube?
I don't believe we got it up on YouTube or anything like that. I know. I saw somebody has, you know what, I want to say it was Cassie. I take that back. It is on Facebook. Cassie posted Ian's walkout. So I'm pretty sure, and she got a pretty good angle on it. So if you look on her page, or maybe it's the HCP Fighters page, because I saw it. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Because I remember her saying, Ian makes XCP walkout history on the post. But yeah, somebody's got it. So if it's not up there, I can get it.
Yeah, so it's out there. So I mean, that's really cool. It was with the music and everything. And I think Craig does a really good job as the DJ with the lighting and everything. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's really gonna grow. Extreme
Well,
combat.
The music. See, Craig played the music, but I made the music.
Oh, really?
I throw that in there. Oh yes, you don't know. All right, see, you're not privy to all this because you don't know you in the crowd.
This is why we're doing this.
A lot of the customized anything you hear for NEA coming out musically. Usually Ian's custom song, I put that together. My music is either written by me usually or I edit it in. We show up to the event and give that to the DJ. That way we know it's exactly what we want to play, and that's part of the reason why you heard Ian walk out the way it came out. That's why he had the serial killer thing going first. That's a clip from Dexter, the TV show, and that was a part that he really liked, and it embodied what he was trying to show and do. And then we faded that right into the Halloween thing. So I mean, yeah, man. Like I said, man, I'm jacking with all trades. So the walkout music, usually the Champ Is Here mix and stuff like that, I do that on my computer and make that happen. That way when we show up at the event, I know we're getting exactly what we want, and the crowd's going to receive it exactly the way I want them to receive it.
Now, I just made, 2 weeks ago, a SoundCloud account. Do you have one of those?
I got Facebook.
Yeah, I just made an account, and it's basically Facebook, but for music and audio.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's got the whole social media, Facebook, Twitter, the feel and the interaction and stuff. But yeah, I'm basically learning by doing on my end.
Well, that's cool, man. That's the way to do it, And I feel like I said, the way you're doing this is a great way to learn. I found with my projects in the past, the only way that you can make a mistake is not doing it. Because if you do something and you find that something doesn't work, it's not necessarily a mistake because you've definitely found out what doesn't work. and the next time you don't have to do that. So I feel like something like a podcast coming off with this, it's got a lot of controversy. It's got a lot of people out there wanting to hear what I've got to say because I've already done a lot of that footwork to draw that. So it's definitely a good way to start. And I feel like what you've done in your career and what you've done at PCS also draws that too. I mean, I know obviously you're interviewing me, but let's not forget what you can do. You know what I mean? And what you have done. So I definitely feel like your name being on it is going to bring some people to this podcast too.
Yeah, I mean, right now this is basically a pet project for me. PCS is awesome. The guys are training hard. We got some more guys competing, and I just love being around MMA, especially in this region, because it kind of like when I was talking before about TJ George, like seems to me like he's not making many friends in this it's almost like a clique, man. XCP is like it's like a community within itself. And you kind of want to tread carefully, because once you're out of that circle, man, it's going to be hard to get back in it. It's like a tight-knit community. And it's one thing to entertain and call people out, but you're going to have to see them over the course of the next year at pretty much every single show. It's the same people. We got to support and help each other.
Right. I definitely agree, and I understand what you're saying there, because it's very evident that we do, because ever since this has jumped off, pretty much every show, he and I have run into each other or seen each other at the very least. It's definitely something that's got the crowd's attention as well, because like I said, when at the last show, Cody grappled, I believe, Cody grappled, and he wore a Jason mask out, and I think gave it to TJ while he was in the cage, and about 6 or 7 people from the crowd came up and was like, "What are they trying to be you?" And again, it was one of those things where it helped solidify in my mind that, hey, you're definitely doing something. You've got a name, you've got a brand, because when somebody else does something even similar to what you're doing, they automatically know that they're trying to replicate and duplicate. And that's just that solidifies in my mind that I'm doing exactly what I need to do.
Yeah, man, that's some recognition right there, So, how do people get in touch with you on the internet? You got a fighter page?
Yes. And I for the people who have been loyal and faithful, I apologize. I'm not as active as I am going to be. My job sometimes pulls me away, and like I said, with a family, I've got to devote that time too, so I don't get to stay as up on it as I should. But hit me up on Facebook at Andre the Finisher Belcarris, and I've got my own fighter page, or you can even look me up under my government. You can look me up under Andre Belcarris too. I might still accept you, but I'm still going to route you over, because like I said, I'm looking to make that a mainstream page. I've got close to 500 followers, and I'm looking to push that up over the 1,000 mark here over the next year and a half, because a lot of the people that I know aren't even on it right now. So, Facebook.com/Andre the Finisher Belcarris. People can also get the DVD that I'm produced, Destined for Greatness Volume 1. I've got that on sale, using that for fundraising purposes. I also got to throw in a plug for our NEA fundraiser that we're currently running. It's a GoFundMe account, and you can check out the Northeast Assassins page for that at BenningtonMMA.com. I think I got them all. BenningtonMMA.com. I believe that is correct, sir.
All right.
Yes, we're also on Facebook, but I'm not sure if that's a closed group. I don't want to tell y'all to get in if you can.
How about Twitter? You got Twitter?
I don't know. I know what Twitter is, but I don't have a Twitter. What's a Twitter?
Twitter.
I know this is another one of those messaging things, and I'm like, I can't keep up with Facebook half the time. Like,
yeah, no.
I'm telling you, I'm crazy busy.
Yeah, I tell you, I got a couple of. I started a Twitter, about a year ago, And, just slowly and surely, I wound up getting in touch with, like, Chael Sonnen over it recently. I just found out earlier today that that comedian Kevin Hart started following me. I only got about 500 followers.
Oh, that's cool, though. You got Kevin Hart in the mix, Chael Sonnen. Those are two big names.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to put your Facebook, the DVD, the GoFundMe, and the BenningtonMMA.com in the show notes. And unless there's anything else, we can wrap it.
All right, man. I appreciate it. And hopefully you can make it down this weekend. I'll see you on Saturday night after I lump somebody up.
All right, man. I would say good luck, but I know you don't need it.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
That is the interview with Andre the Finisher Belcarris. There's a lot of stuff we covered, and there's a lot of stuff that we didn't even get to. I wanted to talk to him about Cody Murray's grappling match that he had at Rutland that time before he called him out. I wanted to, kind of get his opinion on Cody's performance there. Some other stuff that we didn't get into, mainly because he said that the pro fight hadn't been contracted yet. So, but I just kind of wanted to know, the steps he's taking in order to go pro. Yeah, just because my understanding is you basically just need a license, the medical screenings, and you need a fight. And once that bell rings, you're considered a pro. But I wanted to get his take on it since he's going to be going through the process in the near future. The other thing, Andre, if you're listening to this podcast after I cut it up and put it out, I want another one of those promo videos. It's got to be about 15 seconds, though. 15 seconds, it'll go on Instagram, and then we can share it all over the freaking internet. Upcoming events. This weekend, November 7th, Whitehall Athletic Club. Ian Beatriz defends his Whitehall Athletic Club strap in the main event. Next Saturday, the 14th, Extreme Combat Bennington. That should be a good one. Same night, Caged Combat. I hear they're looking for a light heavyweight, so if you're interested in picking up a fight, I believe the opponent is 3-3. You can get a hold of John Dean. Tell him I sent you. And then the 21st of November, we are back at Lyndonville for Extreme Combat Lyndonville, and I believe we have a pro fight on that. I will save that announcement for later. Okay, so get at me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and Instagram at PCSMMA. That is Plattsburgh Combat Sports and Podcast Combat Sports, the name of this show. So get at me. Let me know what you think. And next week, we have a very special guest. He used to be a Vermont-based amateur fighter. He is now a professional fighter. Just got a win in Bellator last week, and that is Matt Secor from Spa City, BJJ. So, tune in next week. Find us on SoundCloud. Follow on Twitter, PCSMMA, and I will see you later. Peace out.